Trace, can you hear me?
All right,
Nick.
We are doing this online.
Got something different today.
Did this fix it, maybe? Can you still hear me? All right. It's not ideal. Just so you know, I rushed in here. My camera wasn't working, so then I had to do some all sorts of craziness that got me in a position where I am now. And now I'm hearing myself, which isn't ideal. So I think what I'm going to have to do is take this out and then add, and hopefully this may or may not fix things. I don't know. Not ideal. I'm in a bad spot
right here.
I feel like I'm Rob Manfred
again.
I can hear myself. I got like a
two second, three second delay.
And I know I sound
drunk.
So I'm going to try to figure this on the fly. If I can, there's a small chance we start this whole thing over. Nick, you want to fill some air? Don't do anything
important yet.
Talk to the chat. Oh no, do I got Nick muted?
Reds.
There you go.
How about drunk Trace?
I'm not drunk. That's the sad part.
This is a roller coaster, man. This is
I gotta figure out how to mute myself.
I'm hearing the whole echo too. YouTube, you hearing the echo? Or is it just me? There we go. The echo's gone. I can kind of focus. All right. YouTube, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? I feel like I might have fixed it on the fly.
I think we're good.
Maybe. It's no guarantees.
All right, let's start this over so I can do less podcast editing. 3, 2, 1, boom.
All right, Nick. We won a baseball game. Chat's popping. Figuring things out on the fly, and so are the Reds. Beat the White Sox 5-3. I have to make a small admission. I went to Kings Island today, and I did not see all of the game. I did watch it here and there. On my way home, I definitely caught a good majority of it. And I did see that the Bluebird app had everybody and their mother worried about Lodolo. I'm sure we'll have a discussion about that. And I see on the rundown, you got Friedl India, Law and Company, David Law, and the bullpen, Derek Law, excuse me. David Bell's too much on my mind. And some Reds MILB. All right, Nick, haven't had the best start of the show for myself personally, so why don't you get us off to a better start with the box score recap?
I feel like they're more forgiving if it's after a win than a loss, so I think we're okay. I can't believe you went to Kings Island after Reed Mouse specifically said on Friday night, Reed Mouse on Chatterbox Sports covering Miami baseball, said you don't need to, he said cancel the Saturday Kings Island trip because this game was all the roller coaster you would need. Miami's was a 13-12 win over Akron. You have to pull that up. Reed Mouse was on one in that ninth inning. He was on one.
It was wild. I think that the Miami blew a 3-run lead, and then they came back and won the game. So, good for Miami. But you know what? I got news for you. We got 24 people watching. No disrespect at all to the Red Hawks, but I'm willing to bet 24 people probably could care less about that.
All right, let's run through the game. Top one. Nick Senzel made a great defensive play at third base, diving towards the line and throwing from his knees to get Lodolo out of that inning. Bottom one, Jonathan India singled, stole second, and then Spencer Steer drove him home. 1-0 Reds. Top two, Lodolo gave up a solo home run to Alberto on a hanging breaking ball that tied the game at 1-1. Top three, Nick Lodolo, he was just a pitch away from getting through a 1-2-3 inning, but then he hit Luis Robert with an 0-2 pitch. India then couldn't come up with a ball that a second baseman probably should make. Jeff Brantley described the play as a play that has to be made and a play you see just about every other team's second baseman make.
There was 2 outs, right, Nick?
There was 2 outs. So he was
why was he trying to go to second? We'll get into that in a minute. Continue your box score recap.
All right, Andrew Benintendi, who was 2 for 23 in his career against the Reds, doubled. That put the White Sox up 2-1. TJ Friedl did make a nice play in center field, cutting off the ball to hold Yasmani Grandal to third base. Top four, Lodolo gave up a leadoff home run to Sebi Zavala, the White Sox backup catcher, and it was a 1-2 pitch that was actually out of the strike zone. So, gotta tip your hat. Lodolo looked really frustrated on that one. Lodolo then gave up a double, and then he hit Luis Robert again, and his day was over. Derek Law got the Reds out of that inning. The score was still 3-1. Lodolo's final line, 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed, and 3 hit by batters. Derek Law, he would go on to pitch 2 1/3, no hit, scoreless innings. Bottom 5, Kirk Casale singled, and then Jonathan India reached base for a third time in the game with a walk. Then TJ Friedl, he had a 3-run home run to put the Reds up 4-3. Bottom 7, little insurance time. India singled to reach base for a 4th time in the game. Then TJ Friedl tripled to bring him home, put the Reds up 5-3. Ian Jabot, 2 scoreless innings, and then Alexis Diaz did what Alexis Diaz did in the 9th. Tracy, your Cincinnati Reds defeat the Chicago White Sox 5-3.
One thing I want to make really clear really fast is that Jonathan India did get 3 hits tonight. Let's not forget that this guy is really good at baseball. I know oftentimes we always want to find the negative, if you will, in certain players, like, well, they could be better at this or they could be better at that. You know, Jonathan India is a big league hitter, and I don't think he's that far off of being a serviceable second baseman. I think the point we've always tried to make, Nick, was just that if you got guys that are coming up through the system that are going to be better second baseman defensively, there's still room for India. It's not like we're trying to ship them or get them out of there. I don't want this to sound like we're some India-hating podcast and or the chat. I know the chat oftentimes has fun with that. So I just, I know from time to time we get frustrated because everybody acts like India is the maybe overvalued from time to time because the fan base loves him, and they should. However, we shouldn't steer the other way. We can't turn this into politics where you have everybody wants to go as far right as they can and far left as they can just to try to prove their points, when in reality, it all should probably stay somewhere near the middle, and that's what we should try to do with Jonathan India. He did get 3 hits tonight. He had a hell of a game. Stole a couple bags. Did make one play defensively that you scratch your head at, and you're starting to wonder what the hell he was thinking. Because I didn't have so much of a problem, Nick, with him trying to make the play. It was what he was trying to do in the play. It looked to me like he was going to second base when you didn't need to do that. You could have just clearly slid in front of the ball, made a nice easy throw to first, and you'd have been out of the inning. But that's here nor there. I don't want to turn this into some India hate show. I wanted to get out in front of that, Nick.
I mean, this was the day that Jonathan India, this is the exact picture of him in this game. Got on base 4 times, stole 2 bases in this game, got stepped on, but he's a gritty player, stayed in the game, didn't bother him. Like, he's everything you want in a player. He's just a bad defensive second baseman, and it's not his fault. I don't think that he's playing second base for the Reds. I've made it pretty clear I don't think they should try to move him mid-season.
Right.
But it's just going to kind of be painful having to watch that one piece of his game for the rest of the season. And just, I guess we just got to try to focus on the positives because there's so many positives with him. OPS now up to 813. It's just.
Really quickly, before we get to Friedl, who's next on the list here, what was the attendance? I heard on the radio as I was driving home that they had a good crowd. I don't know what good is anymore. Does anyone that was at the game, did they see it on the scoreboard? Was it flashed up there? And Nick's looking it up. What was the number?
25,543.
Okay.
Was a what do you call those bobbleheads? The mini bobbleheads.
Oh, the Funko Pops or
yeah.
Funko. What are they? Is that what they're called?
I don't know, but I didn't want to.
It's the Johnny Bench one, right? I've heard. I kept hearing that. I've heard that, right? Is it?
Yeah.
You didn't want to what? Slip. There goes the lights. I don't even have a light tonight. I'm gonna have to fix that. Talk to the people.
All right. Well, he's fixing the light. Let's talk about TJ Friedl. What a night, man! This guy is just he's just a hell of a player, man. 324 average, 853. TJ Friedl has an 853 OPS, and this is coming off of a year where he was so great in the second half last season. I mean, he's now put together a full season almost probably close to 162 games from halfway through last year through this year to this point that he's been a near all-star level center fielder. And I don't think that's even crazy to say.
TJ?
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to play tomorrow?
I don't know. I would. It's a righty tomorrow. We're good. We're good. We're good. I think he should. I've said I think TJ Friedl is the one guy that I think right now they should run out there every day. Yeah. And there's enough data on the other outfielder that I also really like that he shouldn't be run out there against left-handed pitching.
Right. I got people in the chat telling me I need to crack the Miller Lite. I need to go, and I will do that. Give me a topic that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take a quick second, jump out of here. I don't want to hear about it. Then I'll go do that. TJ Friedl's a good player. Yeah, I don't know what else there's to say. I don't want to get too high and too low on guys to a certain extent as well. This is an everyday show, so I think we've gotten ourselves in a position, Nick, where you feel like you're not looking for a hot topic to discuss, or you're not. It's not that we're trying to be Skip Baylesses of the world, but you're trying to be entertaining, and you're also trying to be insightful, and you're trying to provide opinions and or avenues of thought that might pique people's interest or make them think. Doesn't mean that we're right or wrong, but that's the goal. At least I have when I sit behind this microphone. I don't want to turn everything into a huge deal, though, which is I don't know how great TJ is yet. He's looked good. There's only so much data that we have on him so far. I also don't want to freak out. I don't know if you have anything else to add about TJ, but I also don't want to freak out on Nick Lodolo either. So I don't know if we want to get into that next. You have anything else to add with TJ?
No, he's playing great baseball right now, and looks like a dude that's a piece of the Reds for the next several years. I don't think it's hey, he's a nice guy to fill a roster spot this year. I think he's a guy that we need to start looking at as a legit outfielder that's going to be a starter for this team for the next several years. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that's the case because I think that helps. I did not get to see Barrero hit. I did see that he had a double. I don't know how well he struck it or if it was a ball that looked, I don't know how he looked at the plate tonight.
He had two really good defensive plays in this game. One play was a play that he started a double play. Only way it was going to happen was with the glove flip. He looked really good in the field today. Nice day for Jose Barrero, who got a day off yesterday. Has kind of been like that guy that we're just kind of counting down the days till he gets demoted. That's what it felt like, to be honest. But he had a great day today. So
right.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's tough to know. I mean, we need to see obviously more of it, and I'd like to see more of it. So hopefully that continues. Nick Lodolo, let's get into it. I know that I've seen people kind of starting to freak out a little bit, and I'm not suggesting that there's not any cause for concern. I'm just not there yet. I'm not. I mean, I actually like, now hear me out, chat. I actually like the fact that he struggled in consecutive starts because, in my opinion, that feels like might just be a little small rut, and once he kind of has a couple things go his way, you might argue that he's going to be able to kind of find rhythm, get back on track, and look like the guy that we always have thought he was. I don't really get into the analytics as much as the rest of folks, and I'm not suggesting one iota that those aren't important. They do become tiresome sometimes for me when I see it's like, Lodolo's breaking balls down 2 inches than it was like week 1 or whatever, whatever the case may be. I'd like to just relax and say, if things were to go perfectly tonight for him, and I'm not suggesting that they should always go perfectly, but, and again, I didn't get to see the whole start. I kind of went back and actually watched the first 3 innings on video on demand when I was heading back, and I was speeding through it. So I didn't really watch it in real time, so it might have felt different to others than it did to me. But Senzel kind of misplayed a ball. I get it. He tried to barehand it. It didn't look like he should have made the play, but I think if he had to do it over again, you got to know your personnel. You got to understand who's running at the plate. And it's not like Billy Hamilton. Shout out Billy Hamilton. It's not like Billy Hamilton's running down the first base line where you had to make this barehanded play. So he makes that play. India makes the play that he clearly should have made. I'm not suggesting the ball that Friedl didn't get to should have been caught. If he had got a perfect break on it or a good break on it, then I would argue that he probably could have caught it. The ball landed a foot into the warning track. Most times, Nick, you don't see balls that are hit in the air like that land on the ground in the manner in which it did. And those are 3 plays that you could argue could help continue the momentum that he was on. Now, listen, the one guy hit a little, basically a pitching wedge, a golf shot, and he made a decent swing on it. I'm not going to read too much into it. I'm just not. I feel like that's, if you do that, I feel like it's just you're gonna always be stressed, and I don't want to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, this is his 26th career start, so put that into some perspective. That's not a lot. He's still a baby in starting pitching terms. How many pitchers has it taken a long time to really establish themselves? One positive from his outing, I think I talked about this last night when we were previewing the game, was he needs to throw first pitch strikes. 19 of the 21 batters he faced tonight, he threw a first pitch strike. So it seemed like that was a point of emphasis. And he got ahead of a lot of hitters. Like, he hit Luis Robert with an 0-2 pitch. It was just a mistake. So I think there's some positives. He's throwing a lot of pitches, though. He's averaging 22 pitches per inning. But it just, let's have some patience on Lodolo. Let's see what his numbers look like in August, because I think they look pretty good. My biggest concern with Lodolo has been, can he stay healthy? And so far this year, he has stayed healthy. So that was my biggest concern with him going into the year. And that's probably still going to be my overall biggest concern.
Chat is going to be absolutely all over me, and they should be, because I clearly didn't charge my camera, I guess. These things are what they are. I tell you what I'm going to do. It's frozen right this second. I am going to plug it in and charge it because I think you guys deserve to see the dunk at the very end of the night. So if I give us like 10, 15 more minutes, we'll have to squeeze that in. So rest assured, I will dunk the basketball. We're not going to get off to a bad start. We're not going to get off to that bad of a start. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else for me to add about Nick. I did see Brian. He brought up a point. He said that Lodolo's 3 straight starts are after he threw over 100 pitches. Do you think that that's part of it? I don't. I think that's just a coincidence to a certain extent. If he threw like 100 and, I don't know, like 50 pitches or something crazy, then maybe I would agree with that. But I think that's more coincidental than actually a real thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter Green's had a bunch of starts like that where he's gone, way higher than that, up in like 120, and I think they're just trying to push these guys a little bit. I don't think that's a reason. He wouldn't want to use it as an excuse.
I don't think he'll use it as an excuse either. So.
No, I said I don't think he wouldn't want to use it as an excuse.
Yeah. Derek Law. The bullpen in general. I mean, I guess, what are you going to say? Jabot threw well. So.
Yeah, I mean, these guys like just 5 and a third scoreless innings, 2 hits, only walked 1 batter. I mean, it's just been incredible what this bullpen's done. You look up and down. The ERA, Sims 0 ERA, Legumina 2.25, Diaz 2.45, Jabot 2.57, Young 2.57, Lal 3.18, Farmer 3.31. Like, that's ridiculous. How many of these guys? Reaver San Martin's been the only one that's active that has struggled this year.
Right, and he's got to be on his way down, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. I what else is there to say outside of the fact that you know what's coming? And I'm not trying to be pessimistic by any means, but I do not want to see, and I will. You want to talk about me losing my cool and me going absolutely crazy? Wait until you see me going hard in the paint on Twitter when they inevitably have a day where they don't throw the ball well, and they probably will blow a game, or they probably won't. Whether they keep us in the game, whether they win us the game, or whether they blow it from the very onset after 3 innings or one of our starters goes again. This bullpen's going to struggle at some point. Water's going to find its level to a small extent. But my goodness, like this, I don't know. Maybe, what else can you say? I mean, maybe it keeps going this way, Nick, but I just can't expect it to. It seems wild.
Yeah, I think they've done a nice job of assembling this bullpen with the budget they had, and these guys are pitching awesome. So they deserve a lot of credit for really keeping this season. Because, I mean, imagine if the Reds had a bad bullpen, like what the season would look like right now. I don't think they'd be anywhere close to what are they, 14 and 20, 14 and 19. Like, you have a bad bullpen, they might be 10 and 24 or whatever right now. I mean, it might look really bad.
Right. And I know the chat and the Reds fan base isn't going to want to hear this to a certain extent, but there's also some truth to what we've already said about relievers. And I want to go into 2 different points here. Obviously don't want the show to go on forever to a certain extent. However, I do want to make 2 kind of thoughts that I just was pondering last evening and then also today, is that our fan base is a very triggered fan base from 2 different angles when it comes to trades. One side of the aisle is always looking to try to keep building up this prospect base to try to have this run in the sun, if you will, in maybe 2 years from now. The other side of the fan base feels like they are always obviously arguing and complaining and against any trade because they feel like that we just keep sending out anybody that could actually relevantly help us when it comes to mattering, if you will. And I think that there's truth to both sides is what I'm getting at. I do. And the one main point that I wanted to just make is that if this bullpen continues to throw the way that it has, that is one area that will be a hot commodity come deadline time. And I'm not suggesting they're going to trade Sims, and I'm not suggesting they're going to trade Jabot or Diaz or any of these guys, whether it be, Young. However, it couldn't be, if you were to tell me before the year started that one group was going to outperform or overperform or play above their weight or whatever term you'd like to use, the bullpen's the best thing that we could possibly have. Because the bullpen's the one thing that I think you could easily try to assemble. And I say easily, that's a very vague, I probably shouldn't say it like that. But I think the bullpen's the one area where you can go out and spend money and be competitive within a bullpen in a couple years. It's not like you need to stockpile a group of talent that you can hold on to for 2 years from now, and they're going to be the same guys because they're very fickle. So at the deadline, it is going to be beautiful if these guys continue to throw well. And hopefully Crawl can use that to our advantage. And I know that one side of the fan base is yelling and screaming at me right now saying, I'm tired of trading everybody. I'm tired and sick and tired of that. And to a certain extent, they're right. But the other side of the aisle is like, these guys will never have as much trade value as they're ever going to have when it comes time to this upcoming deadline if they continue to throw the way that they're throwing. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point. I think guys like Diaz and Sims, if you're trading them, you better be getting a hell of a return. But, I mean, man, if you're getting anything a substantial back for guys like Law and Jabot and Farmer, I mean, I think you have to really look at that. And I think that's what good teams do is they trade where they have they trade players at their peak value. Look at like a guy like Brandon Drury last year. Reds traded him, got a really nice prospect back, one of their top 15 prospects. And, Brandon Drury's really never been the same. So yeah. How about this, Trace?
What's up?
Reds are 4.5 games ahead of the Cardinals right now.
That's unbelievable.
Reds are 10-7 at home. Get out the Great American Ballpark. 10-7.
They are getting out. I mean, half our chat was at the game. I'm looking at him.
Let's go.
Who's your dad? Who's your daddy thinks he's at the game right now?
Let's go. 10-7 at home. That's nice.
Are you a fan of that? Think that's good?
I think that's good. That's a positive development. That's the best record at home in the Central. I don't know. It's 10-7 and 9-6 the same. They might be the same. That's maybe tied for the same. But hey, it's a good record. They're playing good ball.
The Reds aren't playing bad ball. That's maybe the most exciting thing. We knew coming to this year there's going to be stretches of baseball that this team will play that are going to make your head hurt. But right now doesn't really feel like one of them. I know San Diego we felt a little overmatched at times. Oakland we certainly felt like I thought we're just clearly the better team, and unfortunately we didn't win that game on Sunday in Oakland, and that still stings if we're being honest.
You're never going to let that one go,
man. I tell you what, man, that one still stings. You're going to ask me in August, so I'm going to be pointing back to that game in May against Oakland.
If we would have won that game against Oakland, man, we'd be 60-72 instead of 59-71 garbage.
No doubt. I think there's a lot to be excited about. And the reason I say that is because a couple of guys that are really, really, really important to this team, supposedly were important to this team in order for us to compete this year, were going to be Will Myers and Stevenson. And those two guys, basically have been as reliable as the post mail. And for those that are keeping track, not reliable is what I was getting at. So I don't know if Stevenson's in a spot yet where I'm like really concerned. There's something going on there. And I'm not saying I called it, but I'm sure you can go back on the tape and try to find when I said there's something going on with him. I don't know what it is. I really don't. I'm not even trying to get into this whole like conspiracy theory stuff, but I really do think something's going on with Stevenson that's personal. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like he's the same from just an energetic. And I know he's struggling, so it's hard to be energetic. He can't get excited when you're striking out, but there's just something to it. I can't put my finger on it. It's just something I feel.
All right. Yeah, he struggled tonight. 2 strikeouts. Did walk. Got pinch ran for by Kevin Newman.
That's speed.
Yeah. Burner.
That's right.
Will Myers back in the lineup. First time since April 25th.
Yeah, COVID.
Yeah, I hope Myers gets hot. He's gonna be a weird player. What are you gonna do with him if he doesn't have any trade value?
I mean, you want him to get hot. I just want him to get lukewarm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I assume every plan the Reds have is centered around trading Will Myers at the deadline.
Oh, well, guess what? You trade him for nothing.
He's gonna have to heat up just to get traded for someone to take on the $3.5 million or whatever he's going to be owed the rest of the year.
Yeah. Well, he might not get traded then, will he? So
yeah.
You got some Reds MILB. I'm going to try to plug my camera in and give this thing one last hurrah and give the old dunk. Once you're done with the Reds MILB, I do want to run through a couple of different weird dynamics that are going into tomorrow and next week for the show. It's not going to affect it a ton, but I do want to at least get into that. So what do you got for Reds MILB, Nick?
All right, let's work backwards today. Start with the games that are complete. Daytona, they lost 13-5 to Palm Beach. The Tortugas now 9-17 on the year. Not a whole lot in this one. A lot of guys had the day off. Collier had the day off. Hector Rodriguez had the day off. Victor Acosta had the day off. Sal Stewart and Carlos Jorge each had 2 hits. So that was the positive there. The Dayton Dragons, though, 11-0 win over the Lansing Lugnuts today. Really good start from Julian Aguilar. 5 innings pitched, just 2 hits, no runs, 0 walks, 4 strikeouts. He now has a 2.42 ERA with 27 strikeouts through his first 22 in the 3rd innings pitched this year. So he is pitching really well. Blake Dunn hit another home run. Edwin Arroyo had 2 hits as well for the Dragons today. To Chattanooga, they're leading 4-3 right now. That game is in the bottom of the 8th. Lookouts actually just scored 2 runs to take the lead. Noelvi Marte is 1 for 4 in the game. And then Lyon Richardson, he's a guy that really excited about. He's on a strict pitch count. He only threw 2 innings, but 2 scoreless innings, struck out 2. And then the Louisville Bats, they are up 8-6 over Omaha. Levi Stout got the start for the Bats. Okay start, I guess. 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run, but he walked 3 more batters as his command continues to let him down. Ellie De La Cruz did double in this game. Matt McClain, he is 3 for 4, a pair of doubles. I think on the last double, he actually fell down, so he might have had another triple. Christian Encarnacion Strand is 1 for 3. Will Benson, he's 2 for 2 with a walk. So good evening so far for Benson as the Bats lead 8-6 over Omaha in the bottom of the 6th. Still a lot of game left, so turn on MILB TV as soon as we're done here. And Brian points out in the chat, Ellie De La Cruz, yep, 115 miles per hour on that double, so he really spoke that. Ellie's been okay, 695 OPS so far, but I expect that he's going to get really hot here soon and go on a tear for a while. All right, Trace, we're back. We got video. Let's go.
Yeah, we're doing it. And man, I'm struggling tonight. I don't know who told me in the chat. I think it was Chris. I don't have a champagne of beers. I do have a summer shandy though. So that's for the chat. So here's the deal. I gotta work the flying pig tomorrow, which means I don't know what that looks like. I got to take the video board down there. We may be StreamYarding it. We may not. Next week on Monday, I have to travel to Nashville to work Vanderbilt's graduation. So they need somebody intelligent to run down there because they don't have enough people at Vanderbilt that are graduating that are smart enough to run an event. So I have to go down. So I'll be down there until Thursday. So I will be doing some shows via StreamYard on that end with you. But we're going to figure it out one way or the other. I'll make sure I pack plenty of Miller Lights. I don't know what we're going to do about the dunk in the basketball. That's where we're going to have an issue. But we'll find a way. If there's a will, there's a way.
Portable. We need a portable hoop
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I will do that. I will do that.
go to
The show
Dollar
goes
General.
on.
Yeah.
No, the show goes on. I actually. All right, hold on.
And for the people in the chat, when Trey says StreamYard, that actually impacts you guys 0%. It's the exact same concept. Just don't have all these sexy graphics. We just have to get by with Nick's mediocre graphic art. So,
Yeah.
but it won't impact you. Same show, same everything else.
Same everything. If you can't tell, I'm a pretty big hoops guy. So I'll just, struggle bus, right, left, there it goes. I'll just take this with me. Just put it right on the hotel door.
Is Casey McAllister going with you, or are you going solo on this one?
Nope. Sean Spurlock, actually.
Oh, shout out Sean.
Shout out Sean. All right, my camera could die at any moment, and I don't want to miss, or you to miss the dunk, because then I don't have to hear it. Sir Boy, Mouse Cop, all these people are going to call me a fraud. I don't want to hear that. So no excuses. So we will be back better than ever tomorrow, like we always are. And as you should know, Nick, run through the starters real quick.
All right, Graham Ashcraft, 2-0, ERA of 2. He's never faced the White Sox before. Let's hope he can keep it rolling. Michael Kopech for the White Sox. Struggled so far this year. Is coming off a pretty good start, maybe his best start of the year against the Twins. But he's walking a ton of dudes, allowing a ton of home runs. So hopefully the Reds can finish off a series win. Wouldn't that be awesome, Trace? And then an off day on Monday.
It would be awesome. And Graham Ashcraft is a dude. Been telling you all that for a while. And I know that everyone believes him. Everyone believes me, I should say.
4 o'clock game tomorrow as a Flying Pig.
So it's later.
Yeah.
Not because of the Flying Pigs, because they knew that Trace was working the Flying Pig, and they were like, you know what?
Obviously.
Chatterbox Reds must go on. Move it back to 4. You know what else must go on? Hopefully my camera for the next 15 to 20 seconds. So we're going to give this a shot. I'm going to do my best. I'm running out of stuff. All right. Here we go. I'm not hurt. I don't know how it looked, but it was flushed. Take care. Enjoy your Saturday night. Who's your daddy? Lay off the rest of the night, all right? Get some water and crackers, brother. Take care of yourself.